Hello everyone. This is our 21st class on income tax for BCom 5th semester students. In today's class, we are going to solve one more 15 marks sum on incidence of tax and residential status. Let us read the sum first. The following are the incomes of Mr. Mansoor Ali Khan for the previous year 2019-20 and the incomes of Mr. Mansoor Ali Khan is as follows. Number 1. Dividend from Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited rupees 25,000. Next, profit from business in Dubai received in India rupees 12,000. Next, profit from business in England deposited in a bank there. The business is controlled from India rupees 20,000. Profit from business in Indore, controlled from London, rupees 11,000. Interest received from Mr. Abdul in non-resident on the loan provided to him for a business carried on in India, rupees 5,000. Income earned in USA and received there but brought to India, rupees 8,000. Share of income from a partnership firm in Davangere, rupees 15,000. Income from house property in Bangalore received in England, rupees 12,000. Interest on debenture of an Indian company received in Dubai, rupees 5,000. Capital gain on sale of agricultural land at Lucknow, rupees 8,000. And you are asked to compute his gross total income if he is number 1 ordinarily resident, second not ordinarily resident and third non-resident. Before we start solving the sum, first we need to understand the incomes that are given in the sum, whether they are Indian income, foreign income, exempted income or past untaxed foreign income. So I advise all the students before solving the sum, for first point you mark whether it is Indian, foreign, exempted or past untaxed foreign income. Same way for all the points, first do marking whether it is Indian, foreign, exempted or past untaxed income. Then only go for the solution. Now let us see the solution. First we are taking Indian income. Before that, you all know the format of computation of gross total income if the assessee is ordinarily resident, not ordinarily resident and non-resident. So we have prepared 4 different columns. First column is income and last 3 columns are for ordinarily resident, not ordinarily resident and non-resident, wherein in those columns we are going to write the respective incomes or the amounts. First income that comes is Indian income. Here, first point that is given to us is, in the question, dividend from Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited is Indian company, so any dividend received from Indian company is exempted from tax. That is the reason this amount we are going to take it in exempted income column. You can just see the solution. Third part, that is exempted income, wherein first point is given, that is dividend from Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. Any dividend received from Indian company is exempted from tax. That is the reason we have taken it in third income head, that is exempted income. Same way you have to mark for all the 10 incomes and then you should start solving the sum. Under Indian income, which is the first point that comes, that is profit from business in Dubai but received in India. This is second question in the sum, that is profit from business in Dubai but received in India. Is it Indian income or foreign income? When profit is earned in Dubai, it is foreign income, but when the same is received in India, it becomes Indian income. So any income that is received in India is Indian income and taxable in all the three columns. So Indian income, that is profit from business in Dubai which is received in India of rupees 12,000 is taken in all the three columns. So you are taking rupees 12,000 in all the columns, that is ordinary, not ordinary as well as non-resident has to pay tax on the same. Next is profit from business in Indore. Profit from business is fourth point in the question. After you mark all the points, whether it is Indian, foreign, exempted or past untaxed income, you get to know which all are the incomes that are Indian income. So directly those you can take it in first head. So here you can see fourth one is profit from business in Indore. Indore is in India. It is controlled from London. From where it is controlled, it is immaterial if the base of business is situated in India. So profit from business which is situated in Indore, that is in India, is Indian income and it amounts to rupees 11,000. So now we are taking profit from business in Indore of rupees 11,000. As it is Indian income, it is taken in all the columns. So take 11,000 rupees in all the three columns. We are done with this also. Which is next Indian income out of the given incomes in the sum? Interest received from Abdul, a non-resident, on a loan provided to him for a business carried on in India. Abdul is non-resident, but where he is carrying on the business? In India. When the base is in India, it is Indian income. What is the amount of interest received from Abdul for doing business in India? It is 5,000 rupees. So we are taking 5,000 rupees. This 5,000 is taken in all the three columns. Take down 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 which is taxable to ordinary resident, not ordinary resident and non-resident. Coming to next part, after interest received from Abdul, which is the next Indian income, that is income from house property in Bangalore received in England. House property, see 8th point in the question. Income from house property in Bangalore. House property is situated in Bangalore, that is in India. Base is India. Therefore, it is received in England, which is immaterial. So, irrespective of where it is received, if the base is in India, it is considered as Indian income and it amounts to rupees 12,000. 12,000 rupees are also taken in all the column as it is Indian income. So note down 12,000 rupees to ordinary resident, not ordinary resident and non-resident. Check out which is next Indian income. Interest on debenture of an Indian company received in Dubai. Pay attention, dividend received from Indian company is exempted from tax, but interest received on debenture from Indian company is taxable. I repeat once again, dividend received on shares from Indian company is exempted from tax, wherein if any interest that is received from on debentures in India or from Indian company is taxable. That is the reason, see the 9th point in the sum, that is interest on debenture of an Indian company received in Dubai of rupees 5,000 is taxable in all the columns. So we are taking 5,000 in all the columns. Note down 5,000. We are done with all the Indian incomes. Let us now see foreign incomes. Which is foreign income? Profit from business in England. Profit from business in England. Just see, I think it is the third point that is there in the question. Yes, profit from business in England deposited in bank there, but the business is controlled from India. Any income which is earned and received in foreign country is a foreign income, but if it is controlled and managed from India, it is taxable to ordinary resident as well as not ordinary resident. Therefore, in foreign income column, we take this third point, that is profit from business in England deposited in a bank there. As it is earned and received there, it is foreign income, but as it is controlled from India, it is taxable to ordinary as well as not ordinary resident. Therefore, here we take amounts as for ordinary as well as not ordinary resident, and it amounts to rupees 20,000. So you are taking 20,000 in all the columns. You're taking this 20,000 rupees only in two columns because it is foreign income but controlled and managed from India. That is the reason it is taken or taxable to ordinary as well as not ordinary resident only. Coming to next foreign income, that is income earned in USA and received there. Income which is earned in USA and received there itself. Let us check which point it is in the sum. It is sixth point. Income earned in USA and received there but brought to India, rupees 8,000. Brought to India is not received in India. Income earned in USA but received there, it is a foreign income and it amounts to rupees 8,000. And that will be taken, it is completely a foreign income, so it will be taken only in one column. That is, only ordinary resident has to pay tax on foreign income. Coming to next, I think we are done with the foreign incomes. Next is exempted income. The first point itself in the sum. Just check out first point in the sum, that is dividend from Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited 25,000 rupees is exempted income. So under exempted income, dividend from Bharat Petroleum Corporation is exempted from tax. Therefore, we are writing amount nil. So it is not taken in any of the columns. Exempted incomes are not at all taxable, therefore they are not taken in any column. Same it is in case with share of income from partnership firm. So share of income from partnership firm is which point? It is seventh point in the question. Share of income from a partnership firm in Davangere, which is exempted income, which is not taken in any of the column, as it is not supposed to be taken because it is Indian income. It is exempted income. Next is sale of agricultural land. Sale of agricultural land, that is 10th one, capital gain on sale of agricultural land. Any agricultural income earned in India, Lucknow is in India, so any agricultural income earned in India is exempted from tax. Therefore, sale of agricultural land is exempted from tax, which is not taken in any column while computing gross total income. We are done with all the points. In here, we are not given information regarding past untaxed foreign income. Therefore, fourth head of income is past untaxed foreign income is also taken as nil, because past untaxed foreign income is not given, and even if it is given in the sum, it is not considered while computing gross total income. So now we have to total all the incomes and then we have to find the total. So we are given total Indian income, foreign income, exempted income in the sum that we have considered while solving the sum, and past untaxed foreign income is not considered as it is not given in the sum, but still I have written the amounts blank. Now let us total the gross total income for ordinarily resident. When we add all the Indian incomes as well as the foreign income, the gross total that we get for ordinarily resident amounts to rupees 73,000. So you total all. Total it for ordinarily resident. Gross total income for ordinarily resident is 73,000. In case of not ordinarily resident, the gross total income comes to rupees 65,000, and in case of non-resident, it amounts to 45,000. So these are 73, 65 and 45,000 are gross total income of assessee, and the name of assessee is Mr. Masoor Ali Khan for the assessment year 2021. So this is what? This is a gross total income of Mr. Masoor Ali Khan. I hope you have understood the sum. Practice it. Don't just watch the video, but also practice it in your notebook. The tips to solve this sum is, once you go through the sum, read it out. After you read it, mark it in the sum itself, whether it is Indian income, exempted income, foreign income or past untaxed foreign income. This helps you to take the amounts in respective income head. In next class, we will solve one more 15 mark sum on incidence of tax and residential status.